Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain. I'm Rachel, and I have actually recorded this episode already today, but I did it with mute on. So we're going to try this again without the mute and see how we go from here. So we're recording The Midnight Carnival by Kenny Gould. And so when I went on to Goodreads, I like to pull it up, have my summary in front of me so I can read it to you all, and realize that there are two different The Midnight Carnivals. So one is called The Midnight Carnival for One Night Only, and I think that is by, let's see real quick. Cecil Evans. Now, it looks cute, or it looks good because it does say horror fantasy, but for the one we are looking for, and the one that I read, is The Midnight Carnival by Kenny Gould. And honestly, this one seems to have all the things that I wanted and more. Now, the other one could potentially be great as well. I'm not sure, but I didn't get the other one on NetGalley. I got this one on NetGalley, and I am so glad I did. Now, it says that it was specifically good for, it says perfect for fans of Legends and Lattes, Trust in the Emerald Sea, and Spirited Away. It says The Midnight Carnival is a cozy fantasy full of spooky fun, heartfelt friendship, and just enough danger to make you hug the blanket tighter on a cold night. So, I don't know if it was really, I don't know if there's any real level of creepiness to it. I didn't find any. I think when I think of this book, I just want to curl up and I have a big round chair and I'm really thinking about moving it into this office space, readjusting the space again. I think this is going to be kind of like a work in progress sort of space, but I may end up kind of doing my desk kind of kitty corner over here in this corner and putting my big round chair over here by the window, so I have this space for reading and have great light in here as well. But yes, this book had a lot to live up to with Legends and Lattes, Trust in the Emerald Sea, and as well as Spirited Away. Wasn't quite as good. Those three books, or I guess I don't know if Spirited Away is a book, but it's definitely a movie, and it's a phenomenal movie. Those books are they're 5 stars. The ones that were described are 5-star books for me. This one, not quite, but it was very good. So I liked it. But let's dive into the summary. Ladies and gentlemen, griffins and gnolls, the carnival is open. Max Planck is a down-on-his-luck handyman with no job, no prospects, and no plan. But when he discovers $1 million hidden beneath his bathtub, he does what anyone would do. He buys a haunted, defunct amusement park. Now, the reluctant ringleader of the Carnival of the Sun, Max, finds himself swept into a world of monstrous politics, angry dryads, and flamboyant wargs. With the help of several unlikely allies, he sets out to rebuild the carnival, bridge the widening gap between humans and monsters, and maybe find a little joy along the way. If you like cozy fantasy, whimsical world building, found family, second chances, funnel cake, and a little danger wrapped in a lot of comfort, then grab your ticket and join the fun. Now, it's only about 236 pages in the Kindle edition, and I do think I read this book in one sitting. 230 pages is a pretty quick read for me. So honestly, anything under 300 is probably a one sitting sort of book, depending on how busy I am. Now, it was first published October 14th of 2025. And like I said, I had recorded this episode earlier. I recorded it on mute, so I'm now re-recording it, but I am recording it late because the month of October for me was very busy as I did move from my apartment to a townhouse that I bought. And so very excited to have this new space. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress while I find out what the best flow of at least this room is for me. I think my guest room and my bedroom are both pretty well set. They feel good. They feel comfortable. I like the flow. This one, on the other hand, I like it, but I think I can do better. The only thing is, to do better, I have to take all the books off the bookshelves to shift them around because there's carpet on this floor and I'm not going to be able to push these bookshelves around on carpet. But we're not really talking about that. We're talking about this book, and it was really fun. It is a very cozy fiction, or cozy fantasy, and we start off with Max, who has just recently bought this house, and he's doing some renovations on it. It says he's a down on his luck sort of handyman, which I suppose is true. He's just lost his girlfriend who has left him for someone else. It seems as though that perhaps she wanted someone with more direction or perhaps more influence or more in general. And he just maybe wasn't that person for her right now. So they broke up. I think she may have cheated on him and kind of left the relationship, and that dude is kind of a bit of a douchebag, but we'll get to him in a minute. So Max is kind of by himself renovating this house that he bought when he's in the bathroom, and I want to say it's the downstairs bathroom. He is ripping out the floors and stuff because he is doing all the things. Well, he finds this bit of a crawl space. So he goes into the crawl space and ultimately finds this pile of money. And so he packs it up and he's going to put it away and he's going to go take it to the bank. Well, on his way to the bank, he discovers this carnival that he loved when he was a kid is for sale. And he just oh yeah, by the way, how much is the carnival? And they're oh, well, it's $1 million. And he's oh, really? Of course it is. Why not? Why wouldn't it be? And so he's kind of on the fence. He's I'm not gonna buy this carnival. I'm not gonna spend this $1 million that could really change my life in so many ways. And then he's sold. Buys the carnival, of course, because we wouldn't have a book if he didn't. Now, I don't know if it were you or if it were me. I don't know if I would do the same thing. I think for $1 million, I think I have a couple other things I need to address before I start thinking about spending that much on a carnival. But the thing is the carnival is not currently functioning, and it has been abandoned for some time, or at least it's not been running for some time. So it needs a lot of work. But as he purchases it and he kind of starts thinking about the things that it needs, and again, he's a handyman, so he can do a good bit of it. He's thinking about the people he's going to need in his corner and on his team in order to make this place the magical place that it once was. I just heard a fly or something buzzing by my head. So he starts getting those people together, and that's where we kind of take off down the road. Well, we do figure out that he okay, so the guy that his girlfriend left him for is this rich douchebag, and apparently his company, or his father's company, wants this land. They want to develop it, and they want to tear down the carnival, and they probably want to do some sort of apartments on it or something, because that's what corporations or companies always want to do when they're gentrifying an area. They want to tear down all the things that have personality and build things that are not personality. I don't know, but anyway, I don't even know if the apartments would be a decent price once they developed it. But that's kind of what gentrification tends to look like. It becomes a more livable area, but all the character seems to go out of it, and you get more shops and you get more overpriced housing, and then people who were living there maybe can no longer afford to live there because it's been gentrified. But anyway, so that's what he's trying to prevent. He's trying to prevent this carnival from being pretty much pavemented over. But he does have to go to this guy's office and kind of gloat a little bit about having purchased this property, because one of the, I guess, caveats was that the bank or whoever was selling it would not sell it to this company because they knew what that company was going to do with it. So He just had to go. He had to rub it in their face that he had it and they wanted it. And they end up offering him like quite a lot of money, like almost, if not doubling his money, then even more. But he struts out of there, and he's pretty like, he feels pretty good that he won at least this little battle. He may not have won the war, but he's certainly won this little battle. So the thought about this this carnival could be haunted is definitely like a fun little thing to play with, because it's got a lot of, I swear there is a fly that is like zooming my head. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he's over here somewhere and I don't know what he's doing. I can kind of see him in my little viewfinder. I keep hearing him. I'm going to have to take care of him after I'm done recording this episode. But all the people who help Max build up this carnival have some sort of love for it, or they have some sort of nostalgia for it, or maybe they worked at it in the past, or their family worked at it in the past. He does reach out to his ex-girlfriend, and she's very much like a kind of a high profile influencer sort of thing, but she's good at social media, so she's kind of like, she's dating this other guy, and the other guy's like the douchebag guy. But if it's going to piss him off, like, she seems pretty happy about doing that. She's like, yeah, I'll do it. Just, kind of like ribbing the other guy. She's going to, help do the social media. But I was a little disappointed in her at one point, because there is I think it's a Knoll, a Gnoll, that helps with the handiwork, helps with the building, helps with fixing the equipment, and she's a really lovely character. The Knoll is, but she's kind of a little bit of a simple person, a simple creature. But when the ex-girlfriend finds out, like, she has this huge reaction to, like, why in the world would you hire these creatures? These creatures are dangerous, da 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 da. And it's like, this poor creature has been phenomenal. Like, she's been a lovely individual, far more lovely than this ex-girlfriend. But there seems to be a level of, I guess, discrimination. And I do think it's the way that this particular author kind of broaches that topic of showing that, we have all these diverse races. We have some that are human, some that are not, who are in this world. And it seems like a fairly new revelation that we are kind of merging supernatural beings with human beings, and there's still, like, it's still very divisive between the groups of people. And I was gonna say clumps, and that was a terrible word, clumps of people, but the groups of people. And so we do see that this carnival is so welcoming to everyone, for all walks of life and all creatures of life. And I do love that Max, he absolutely chooses the Knoll over the ex-girlfriend. He doesn't need her help if she's going to be so rude to people who have been so helpful in helping him get this carnival off the ground. So I do love Max. I do find he is a fantastic creature. So somebody else mentions that there's like a little bit of romance, and I mean, yeah, but they said it's like this super slow burn romance, and I'm like, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it. Yeah, sure. I mean, is there a spark of love interest in this book? Sure, but I didn't even think it was worth mentioning. But this other individual, when I was scrolling to try to find it, says, I'll be first in line if Gould writes a sequel. And that's also something that I was thinking as well. If we don't write a sequel to the Midnight Carnival, then I hope that we see more within this world where the supernatural creatures and the humans are starting to live and work together, because I feel like this world could definitely be more rich, and I love that we started with the Midnight Carnival and that we can go from there. Now we have some people who are like just awesome. One, he is doing he wants to do an insect show, but then the insects go on strike, and this one older gentleman who's like a really good handyman, he he has a lot of nostalgia for the carnival, but it's like his wife vanished, but his wife was like a dryad from the forest, and so one day he just decides to leave the carnival and go find her. And honestly, I was just like, oh man, that's so sweet. And so that was really like, that was kind of heartfelt. But and Max is like, he's desperate to go find that guy. Like, he's like, no, I gotta go find him. But I think his name's Ned. But Ned was like, don't come look for me. I'll be so mad if you come look for me. And of course, then Max does exactly that, and exactly spends like a whole day looking for Ned, only to realize like, okay, Ned doesn't want to be found. He went and did this because this is what he wanted to do, and yeah. So anyway, trying to think. Let's see. Oh, I was almost forgetting because I was trying to think of the things that I had mentioned when I recorded this the first time. Was that now you're like, where did this $1,000,000 come from? Like, isn't somebody gonna be curious about this $1,000,000? Like, somebody's gonna look for it. So, like, if you misplace $1,000,000, you're gonna go find it, right? Just hold your horses. Just hold them, because about halfway through the book, a mysterious person shows up on his doorstep of his house, the one he's renovating, and he used to live there. And he is very curious about, this potential crawl space that could be under the house. And Max could potentially be like, oh no, I've spent that. And the guy's like, what? You spent my family's like legacy? Well, it's gone now, isn't it? Whoops. But anyway, I'm not going to dive too much into that because I think that makes a really good, like, a little nugget to find in the book. But of course you're going to be curious. I was curious. I was like, there's no way he can find $1,000,000 in the floorboards and not have someone come looking for it at one point or another, unless said person robbed a bank, stored it under the house, and is now in prison the rest of their life for something else. I've seen that on TV shows. I can't say it's happened in real life, but maybe. I don't know. But with all of that being said, I do hope you will consider The Midnight Carnival by Kenny Gould. I thought it was really fun. I absolutely want to buy a physical copy to add to my bookshelf, so I probably will. I only had the ebook on I think I had it on Kindle, but I may have had it in the NetGalley reader. But either way, I had the ebook. I didn't have the audio. And I would love to see illustrations for this book. I think they would be incredibly well done. If we could see how some of these scenes play out in like a picture or something, would be really nice to see. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.